What's up YouTube, and welcome to another vlog. My name is Brian Ochuka and we are recording from Juja. This one is a very small bed sitter, and we just moved in the other day. So there are very many things we need to do to improve this space. Like, those are my clothes. I need to make something there so that something like a closet, so that we can have a very organized space. But anyway, that's not the essence of this particular video. This video is purely dedicated to actually showing you what goes on when you don't have anything to do, or rather what goes on when there are so many things you're doing. So this is just behind the scenes of what literally goes on in a person's life. So while at it, let's have a conversation. I wanted to talk about why your opinion matters more than anyone's opinion in your life and how you view life itself. For the past years, we've seen the rise of guys like Cairo, we've seen the rise of guys like Andrew Kibe, and so many other people, Kinaka Samuel, people that came from very humble spaces, then blew up all of a sudden, and finally when we came to see what actually was driving this blow up, most of us can be of the opinion that these guys were hypocritical. But when you go back to the prime moments that they were at their glow up, we could see how they remain the other side of life, where people are broke, where people are on their startups, where people are actually trying to focus and lock in into their particular activities and lifestyles. But because you are at this particular point of fame, they actually had an opinion of how the other side should conduct themselves. And funny thing is, most of us were manipulated in the other cocoon to actually try and live, or rather not focus on the things that made us who we are, to actually live a life that was bound by the opinions. Now, it's these little moments that we forget ourselves and lose, and actually fall into the chaos that's driving this world in a wild state. So as we talk, Cairo is in prison, not prison, in remand. As we talk, guys like Andrew Kibe are back on TikTok in Kenya, suffering, back in the trenches, not suffering actually, but back in the trenches, in the drawing board, trying to find a better way to live. And these are the people that most of us, and some of us, looked up to, in opinion, in lifestyle, and how to conduct ourselves, because they were an ideal. Most of us don't have mentors. And the funny thing about X, or social media, is it puts people up, and when you are a consumer of this particular space, this particular social media spaces, you find yourself inclined to like people and try to lead a life like them. And however anyone might try to dispute these sentiments, there are little things you've done because you've been influenced by other people, and because the same influence has struck you to behave or do things that you couldn't have done after you had the kind of conversation, or the kind of lifestyle, or the kind of opinion other people had. Then I'd rather say these are little mentors, the people that you look up to into little minute things that we forget. So anyway, not to bore you with so much conversations, I just woke up 30 minutes ago. It's 7:30, and I want to go and hit the gym and get the guy that's going to fix this thing. So while I show you how that is going on, we'll continue with this conversation. But first, let's go this morning gains and see how it's Wednesday, how this day goes. We might get a job, abandon everything, or it might be that day where we get to do this video politely and post it, because we made a commitment, and zinanidai kama madeni, na mimi na fail kukuwa consistent nazo. Let's get it. Morning. Welcome yet to another day. So apparently our guy didn't show up yesterday to come and sort the cabinet you are to make. He tells me he was preoccupied. He had so much on his plate. Shanga, I'm not a priority anymore in so many things. So anyway, I'm here headed to go and check up on the guy. And while at it, we have to continue with our conversation. So Jana, I was talking about Jana, we are having a conversation about why your opinion should be the only thing that matters and drives what you do on a daily basis and how you behave around people actually. Whether you're wrong or right, you should have some sense in doing the things you do with a mental point of origin that's coming inside and within you. And the reason why this is so is because the mistakes we make, we blame it on other people. In relationships, either kind of relationship, in friendship, boy and girl relationship. These are things that when you find yourself, even in purchases, you buy something because you're influenced with someone and that particular thing goes haywire or doesn't work the way it's supposed to work or doesn't go the way you wanted it to go, you end up blaming the people because of the mistakes you made, not knowing that you doing your due diligence could have saved you from going through whatever you'll be going through. So let me take a seat and tell you why this is so. Most of the times, nywele limea. I didn't know I looked this good with the short hair. Anyway, niache kujipenda na tuendelee kuongea. So most of the time, you find yourself in little things that you're not comfortable with because of someone else's opinion that you had clinged to. Pastor alikwambia lipa sadaka and ukalipa sadaka ukapata umesota, not knowing that Mungu anakuambia jisaidie ndo usaidie wenzako. So before ufikirie kutoa sadaka, know that umekula, umefanya nini. These are little things that we ignore and end up later regretting why our life is not moving on the way it should be moving. And when you get to social media, in your 20s, guys like Andrew Tate are telling us actually that we should make so much money in our 20s, not knowing that with a fragile mindset, however much money you make, you're not going to be able to, one, know how to spend it well, and two, even with the financial muscle you're trying to hustle out, you really don't know how to behave with the money or the financial muscle you're trying to get. And for some people will try to argue differently, but I believe if a person got so much money in their 30s, they will behave differently, invest differently, and actually handle relationships differently, as opposed to if they got the same financial muscle in their 20s. Anyway, a discussion for different other people with different opinions. But the reality is that the kind of influence you get from these social media platforms that we have now engaged into is actually eating us out. And spoiling us in a bad way, and it's not a good thing. Definitely, it's not a good thing. I've been a victim of the same mindset in so many things, and I really don't think it's doing anyone good to actually sit and listen to someone else and try to behave in the sense that they advise. There's this podcast by Modern Wisdom. It should be 3 or 2 days old, where they're having a conversation with Navara, and the guy, 2 3 minutes into the conversation, says that whatever he posted, that people clinged to because he's a very big influence in productivity and social takeouts, are all just moments of little conversation with himself, like the book with Marcus Aurelius, where he was writing his meditations and it was published, and so many people are trying to live according to what Marcus Aurelius advised. And remember, these are not advices that he was telling other people. These were just self conversations to himself on how to lead the life he wanted to live. But now there comes other people that are telling you should live the way he used to live. And these particular conversations are those that are driving us in a way that tunajaribia kila siku na tunajaribu kila siku. So anyway, let's go check out this guy mwenye atuindia hii kitu tumforce aifanye leo. We are wasting time and there are other things to do. While at it, this is Juja. Actually, we moved from a more volatile place to a less volatile place. So this other side is a little bit chill. Yeah, it's a little chill, a little bit peaceful. Though there are very many ugly faces here, like mine. Sura zimekasirika tu, hakuna furaha. Anyway, let's see you there. So guys, the guy that was come to fix our wardrobe got preoccupied with other things. And that means you won't be seeing that mount in this particular video. But anyway, before we go on with our conversation, just check where I'm seated. I'm in some leafy place. I actually live in that block. Yeah, that one. And I'm sitting here enjoying my own company because I kind of love myself more than I love people. And so we go on with our conversation. There's nothing beautiful in this world as opposed to knowing that you made a mistake legitimately because you trusted your instincts or your gut, and having to walk back to do things better because you own now to your mistake and you've learned something new, something different that has to change your perspective about the life or the kind of actions you're taking. These are the same things we undergo when you look back to the women we date every other day and you try to improve from the person you are to the next person you are. So growth is one thing that you cannot escape from, given that we live in a world right now where people are actually outsourcing their brain and their decision making to AI and other people that are deemed superior in quotes because they are successful, or rather they have the most ideal way of actually trying to live this one life. So interesting your opinion. I'd love to imagine that you're not better at decision making and you're not smart either, but to commit into finding little mistakes and improving on them is the ideal path of growth that God ordained for man. You have to learn from your own mistakes rather than try to outsource your decision making and opinion acquisition, and later on finding that whatever you trusted or whatever ideal you thought was perfect was just someone else's opinion or an idea of how they should lead their own lives. So anyway, if you made it to the end of this particular video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you around.